For 21 against lefties so far this year.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, Yvonne.
So weird. Okay.
For that, I'd be wealthier than that one merchant.
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you'll get use out of that or something. Yeah.
Okay. You're doing okay. Thank the Lord for that. You're doing okay. I got everybody praying, so I just called in, just want to pray, so they praying. All right.
All right, it appears the SAB is running a little long in exec session, so we're not starting here at 7, but as soon as they're out of exec session, then we will get the open session on. We are live streaming to YouTube, so I have muted everyone when they come in, just so we're not catching conversations live streamed out to the world. But feel free to unmute yourselves once the meeting starts if you need to speak. Again, for anybody who just joined, it appears the SAB is still in closed session or just coming out of closed session. So I believe open session should be starting anytime now. But they went over a little bit, so we're not starting right at 7, but we should be starting pretty soon. Thank you for your patience.
What did you say about Ms. Morrill?
She's going, she had to step away from and Ishmael, they're ready if you want to start.
Ms. King is actually helping for the Zoom part. Ms. King is actually helping Shay.
Okay.
So we can coordinate between the two. So in fact, as long as we continue this format, Ms. King is helping out from home to be able to be the co-host, to be able to let people in and monitor some of the things. So.
Now, what did you tell me about Miss Morrill?
She had just stepped away for a moment.
Okay,
I'm checking now to see if she's on. She called me. Are you on mute? Are you muted?
no, I'm not.
You muted now? Are you muted now?
I'm not on mute. Maybe
Just hit mute for a second. Just came to put it out for us.
I see we have 68 participants. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Can I be heard, Shay?
You need to unmute.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes? Okay.
You're good.
And I apologize for our lateness. We had a long closed session. We do have a quorum. Ms. Morrill has stepped away for a moment, and she is at home for personal reasons, so she will be on Zoom. The rest of us are here. I need a motion to approve the agenda without items H and I, the salary enhancements for 2022 and for 2023. May I have that motion?
So moved.
I second. Ready for the question? Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Announcements, Miss Oswald?
I have none.
Ms.
Okay.
Morrill is online now. Ms. Morrill is online.
Okay, gotcha. We're now down to announcements. Dr. Spurgeon?
Announcements for Ms. Morrill and Ms. Oswald. No announcements for Ms. Oswald or Ms. Morrill.
One more time.
Any announcements from Ms. Morrill or Ms.
Okay.
Oswald?
Ms. Morrill, are you there?
Ms. Morrill, you're muted.
Can you all see me? Oh, here I am. Okay.
Right.
I don't know what happened.
Right. Do you have any announcements?
I do not.
Okay. Do we have any patrons who wish to speak before the board?
No, sir.
Okay. We're down to Riverview Excellence. Dr. Spurgeon, are you doing that?
I believe it's Ishmael, Mr. Sistra.
Mr. Sistrock, are you doing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Take it away.
So good evening, Dr. Beckwith, Mr. Morrill, Mrs. Oswald, Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues and community. Today, we have a couple things here for Riverview Excellence. One point of correction here on my part, I have March 1, 2020. That should be 2021. So hopefully we can get that corrected for the records. But what we wanted to do, number one, is recognize the principals. So Saturday, March 1st was National School Principals Day. So we wanted to make sure we acknowledged all of our principals, the head principals, the assistant principals, the building, sorry, my screen just shared here, but also the building directors. So we just wanted to honor them for National School Principals Day. We think they do a wonderful job, especially over this past year. They've showed a lot of dedication, a lot of leadership, and helping to educate students and keep this school district running and running well. So we just want to honor them for National School Principals Day. Also, this past week, May 3rd through May 7th, was National Teacher Appreciation Week. So we want to make sure that we reach out to all of our teachers. I know we're going to honor the Teachers of the Year, but we want to honor and recognize all the teachers throughout the district because they do a remarkable job. They're committed, they're resilient, and again, they played a critical role over this past year through the pandemic and keeping the students learning and keeping staff morale up. So we just want to give a special recognition to them. Also, we want to give recognition to the superintendent, Dr. Scott Spurgeon. He was elected to serve on the American Association of School Administrators Governing Board by the members of the Missouri Association of School Administrators. So Dr. Spurgeon will be serving a three-year term on the AASA Governing Board. And that's an honor that Riverview Garden Superintendent was selected for that. So we just wanted to let everybody know and just say great job, Dr. Spurgeon. And so with that, I don't know if the SAB has any questions. Otherwise, I know Mrs. Sharp is coming up next, and I'll be helping her out as well.
Mr. Sistrunk,
Yes.
Unless Dr. Patton is going to mention this, this is also Nurses Appreciation Week.
Okay.
And we would like to recognize our nurses also.
Absolutely. Yeah, and apologies for not having that on my calendar, but yeah, the nurses, again, in this pandemic, the nurses have really kept us safe and healthy and provided great insight. We know that they have worked above and beyond over this past year. So definitely want to acknowledge the nurses too. I appreciate you for pointing that out, Dr. Beckwith.
Ishmael, does that conclude your review
Yes.
excellence?
Yes, that's it for Riverview Excellence.
And then, sir, I believe next we have up Miss Barbara Sharp for the Teacher of the Year for 2020 recognition. Miss Sharp. Miss Sharp, you're muted.
Thank
There you
you.
go. There you go.
I had an excellent introduction, but I'll start again. Thank you. Good evening to the Special Administrative Board, to Dr. Spurgeon, to colleagues, and certainly to the great Riverview Garden School District community. Tonight, I have a very special presentation, and that presentation covers a nostalgic walk in time. This time in 2020, in fact, it was March 4th. We had just completed our Teacher of the Year honor breakfast, and we're preparing for district recognition. Unfortunately, during that time period, we had the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, which altered the way that we think and do business in so many ways. While we have worked to honor and give recognition to our teachers for the year of 2020, tonight is a culminating opportunity to extend our appreciation. So tonight I present to you the Teacher of the Year honors, and this is for the class of 2020. There you see the culminating activity, the breakfast, and there is a photo from the Teacher of the Year breakfast, which was held at Moline Elementary School. And now I am pleased to begin the honors. We'll begin with Michelle Obama Early Childhood Academic Center. We have with over 7 years of experience in the Riverview Garden School District, Ms. Clarity Sayer. Ms. Sayer says to us that she stays in this profession because she wants to become a part of this noble profession. And someday she hopes to be counted among those in which there is future pre-service teachers found, and there's inspiration in that regard. She's a dynamic educator. She loves early childhood. Riverview Garden School District proudly salutes Clarity Sayer. Next, we have from Danforth Elementary School, with 4 years of experience in the Riverview Gardens School District, Kelly Ross. Kelly Ross is a dynamic educator. She loves working at Danforth Elementary School and helping to provide support to scholars there. She considers a difficult situation as a challenge, and she welcomes that each and every day. Next, we have from Gibson Elementary School, with those 3 years of experience at that educational institution, we have Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown, and as a matter of fact, the day that I presented her with her plaque, it was her birthday, but she considers this opportunity as a journey. She loves to provide support to the youth and helping them to activate their skills and strategies so that they become lifelong learners. Riverview Gardens School District proudly salutes Miss Kelly Brown. The next recipient from Glasgow Elementary School is Donna Crate. Donna Crate has been with the Riverview Gardens School District for 19 wonderful years. She talked about her experience as a child growing up and seeing things that were not as pleasing, and how she was committed to making every single day focused on supporting young people and helping them to achieve their dreams. Riverview Gardens School District proudly salutes Donna Crate. The next honoree is Elizabeth Mccrary. She comes to us from Highland Elementary School. With over 3 years of experience in the Riverview Gardens School District, she talked about how important it was to make sure that she empowered her young scholars so that they would know how much she cared about them and they would be prepared to be move on to the next level. So Riverview Gardens School District proudly salutes Elizabeth Mccrary. Next, we have from Hope Elementary School, and I know people are cheering in the background. I just can't hear you, but I will continue and you will continue with your enthusiasm for such great educators. Next, we have from Koch Elementary School, with 14 years of experience in the Riverview Gardens School District, we're pleased to honor Vivica Robinson. Ms. Robinson loves being at Koch Elementary School and focusing on making sure that she's providing the supports that are needed for her scholars. She is highly respected and admired by her colleagues, and tonight, Riverview Gardens School District salutes Vivica Robinson. Next, we have from LeMasters Elementary School. He considers himself the Morehouse man.
Oh.
He has 6 years of experience in the Riverview Gardens School District and takes pride in providing the scholarly approach that he provides for his scholars. He's well respected among the staff, and everyone knows at LeMasters Elementary School that they can count on him for anything that is needed among the staff and as well as for the scholars. Riverview Gardens School District proudly salutes David Macer. Next, Riverview Gardens School District salutes from Lewis and Clark Elementary School, Janet Webb Brown. 4 years of experience within the district. She considers the field of education as being extremely rewarding. She looks forward to developing her scholars so that they become well-rounded citizens for their community. And tonight we salute Janet Webb Brown. The next honoree comes from Meadows Elementary School. With 5 years of experience in the district, Haley Fallon Weber. Haley is a kindergarten teacher. And as a kindergarten teacher, you can go into her classroom and often see her down on the floor engaged in activities with her scholars. She enjoys making sure that her scholars come to her every day. They feel safe, they feel welcome, and they're prepared to learn. Riverview Gardens School District salutes Haley Fallon Weber. Our next honoree comes from Moline Elementary School with 15 years of experience in the district. She enjoys making a positive impact in the lives of her children. This is Twyla Conwell. She says that every time she has an opportunity to provide support to her scholars, and she is working to make sure that she is providing opportunities for them to build character, to enhance their attitude and become self-disciplined. Riverview Gardens School District salutes Twyla Conwell. The next honoree comes from Central Middle School. He has 8 years of experience, and all of his teaching experience has been with the Riverview Gardens School District. He comes from Central Middle School. This is Mr. Aaron Howe. Mr. Howe is make sure that he emphasizes to his scholars as well as his colleagues the importance of equity, social justice, and educational achievement. And he works on a daily basis to create that background or foundation in his art classroom. So tonight, Riverview Gardens School District salutes Mr. Aaron Howe. Our next honoree from Westview Middle School is a counselor with 10 years of experience, and her experiences have been in the Riverview Gardens School District. She comes from Westview Middle School. She takes pride in having the opportunity to work with her students to make sure that they feel safe, that they know that they have someone to come to listen to, and to offer them a voice so that they can become advocates for themselves. Tonight, Riverview Gardens School District salutes Alvanette Colley. And from the mighty Riverview Gardens High School, we salute tonight Abina Bradley Matkins. With 12 and a half years of experience in the district, she looks forward to expanding foreign language to her scholars in any type of way that's possible. She enjoys sharing fun with them and planning for travel and making sure that they have cultural connections as she engages in her lessons. Tonight, we are pleased to salute Abina Bradley Matkins. So now you have heard the honor roll for the 2020 school year, and it's okay where you are to give the yay, the round of applause, and everything that you do. So we are now prepared for the recognition of our third place winner for the 2020 Teacher of the Year. That individual is Haley Fallon Weber. Haley received her plaque, and she received other tokens. We did take photos with her, and those photos will be sent, and she will be recognized with all of the photos later this week. So the second place, and we have the drum roll going. From Danforth Elementary School, we have Kelly Ross. Yay, Kelly, and yay, Fallon. Awesome job. Thank you for all that you do for the Riverview Gardens School District. And finally, for the 2020 District Teacher of the Year, we have, drum roll please, from Central Middle School, Mr. Aaron Howe, our teacher. Great job, fantastic. Thank you so much for all that you do. And Mr. Sistrunk, I don't know if you're still online, if you captured the sentiments from one of the teachers when we visited the school on yesterday.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Sharp. And yeah, while we were there and getting photos and talking to Mr. Howe, got a couple perspective. One, on the line, Dr. Spurgeon, of course, and he said that Mr. Howe brings art to life. He makes it relevant and meaningful to kids so that they can make connections about how art plays a role in the world and how they may be able to use art in their own world. He has had an impact at elementary, middle, and high school level. So high words of praise from Dr. Spurgeon. Of course, Dr. Spurgeon is going to say nice things. The true representative is what your colleagues, the teachers who teach near you every day, if they say nice things, then you must be doing something right. And so Miss Valerie Morris, she came up to us and offered this. We didn't go hunting for nice words or anything like that, but Miss Valerie Morris said that Mr. Howe is such a humble, creative, and such a well-deserving teacher for our district teacher of the year. His ideas are innovative and he engages the students. I think he is doing a fabulous job in our school district. So thank you for that, Mrs. Morris. Congratulations to Mr. Howe. I think he's doing a wonderful job, and it's great that he received this honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sistrunk. So this concludes the presentation. I will say to the Riverview Gardens community that we still have some additional steps that we are taking for this great class of 2020. We want them to know how much we appreciate them. And so we're looking at opportunities so that they will be able to formally meet the Special Administrative Board and to receive the other accolades that they normally would receive or that any other class would have received. We're extremely appreciative for this opportunity, and that concludes the presentation for this evening.
Thank you and congratulations to all of those teachers. We're now down to our superintendent's report, Dr. Spurgeon.
Thank you, Dr. Beckwith. I'm going to move quickly, but I gave each of you a copy of some upcoming celebrations for the district. On Wednesday, May 26th at 10 a.m., Lewis and Clark Elementary has a drive-up graduation for kindergarten. At noon, Lewis and Clark Elementary has a drive-up graduation for their 5th grade. At noon, Central Middle School has a promotion parade at their building. At 4 p.m., Meadows Elementary has a drive-through promotion for their 5th grade. And on the 26th of May from 4 to 6 p.m., Michelle Obama Early Child Academic Center will have a walk-through graduation ceremony. On Thursday, May 27th at 10 a.m. to 1:30, Westview Middle School will have a drive-through promotion ceremony for their scholars. And on Friday, May 28th at 9 a.m., Meadows Elementary will have a drive-through promotion ceremony for Miss Bowden's kindergarten. At 10 a.m., Meadows Elementary will have a drive-through promotion for Miss Hall's kindergarten. Also at 10 a.m. on the 28th of May, Glasgow Elementary will have a drive-through promotion ceremony. And the culminating activity on Friday, May 28th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. will be Riverview Gardens High School graduation parade. So this list continues to build, and we'll make sure that the SAB is fully aware of all the celebrations that are going on to celebrate all the great accomplishment of our scholars.
Very good. We're now down to our information items, a very important one, federal programs SR1 and SR2 funds. Ms. Lomas and or Dr. Singleton.
Good evening, SAB and Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues and community members. Tonight, I bring to you several items, starting with an information item on the coronavirus aid, relief, and economic security, or CARES Act, also known as the CARES, or it has evolved into with the approval of the Congressional Appropriation Act into SR1 and the Coronavirus Response Relief Supplement Appropriations, also called CRISA Act, which is now known as the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, or what short acronym is SR2. I'll try to be brief and clear and answer any questions you may have. Dr. Spurgeon, Dr. Singleton, and I spoke with Dr. Monsees last week and Kim Olenschlager of DESE today for additional guidance and clarification on what these funds are able to provide our district. I want to say that out of the chaos that is COVID, these resources provide for opportunities that promote great recovery for our district. One area that can affect great change for Riverview is the use of funds to reimburse GOB salaries and benefit costs all the way back to March 13th, 2020. In response to COVID, maintaining district operations while shut down and then providing remote learning and hybrid learning and then continuing to offer virtual access allows us to seek reimbursements. Doing so provides for fund balance that may address salary schedules that attract and retain teachers and administrators. In addition, ESSER funds promote for health and well-being needs as they relate to dealing with the recovery from COVID. As you see on the board item, there are 15 points of information, which are the same for both SR1 and SR2, with SR2 providing for at least 20% of allocations being spent on addressing what has been called learning loss. Salaries and hiring necessary staff to meet student needs are allowable reimbursements in both. Our allocations for the CARES or SR1 is $2.8 million. This amount was applied for and awarded. Funds were used to reimburse for needs associated with our response to COVID, such as cleaning supplies, PPE, staffing coverage. Riverview's SR2 allocations will be $15,672,000. This grant is now open for application. Mr. Singleton is in the process of developing a budget for submission. These funds will be reimbursements to the district. Shay, can you move to the PowerPoint slides? All right, so this is just a brief review of SR1 and SR2. The SR1 and SR2 are reimbursable allocations. It's that last the last application. Do you have access to those slides, Shay? Yeah, that's fine. So as I said, this is the elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds. You can go on to the next one. SR1 was established in December of 2020. Or I'm sorry, in March of 2020. It evolved to additional funds in December of 2020 for the CARES Act, or what has evolved into SR1. SR2 funds fall under the Coronavirus Relief and Supplemental Appropriation Law, which is called CARISA Act. And those funds are now available for us to apply for. Go ahead and go to the next. As you see, SR1 funds are available to our district until September 30th of 2022. SR2 is available until September 30th of 2023. That's the $15 million. And we're in the process of SR3 allocations, waiting for the governor's signature on that and oversight direction. It is projected that the district will receive upwards of $30 million in SR3 funds for activities all related to COVID. As I said, SR1 is the 2.8 million, SR2 is 15.6 million. Next slide. Next several slides are all on allowable uses. Everything falls under the direction of ESSA, or what we term as title funding, with the additions of any activities that prevent, prepare for, or respond to coronavirus. Next slide. Allowables continued. This is where the district has the opportunity to address unique needs that are identified at each of the individual schools. Activities also that are specific to outreach or service-specific needs that are identified, such as special programs or meal delivery. It is also providing for professional development for staff, specifically for sanitation and cleaning, specific cleaning processes for classrooms, buildings, grounds, and our buses. Next slide. Additional resources from these funds provide for meal delivery, specifically technology, use of technology, access to software, connectivity, hardware, infrastructure for the district, assistive technologies, adaptive equipment, meeting the needs of all identified groups of students in our school community, online learning, extended day programs, after-school programs, special summer programs, and anything to meet the needs of students experiencing homelessness, or students in foster care. Next slide, please. The SR1 funds were established to respond to issues arising from COVID. Those funds were provided for application without fully knowing what might be the needs. So districts have the discretion to use the funds as they prepare to respond to or adapt to the needs of our school community, such as remote learning, safety, cleaning, additional materials such as manipulatives, extra equipment at schools to provide for teaching, musical instruments, things like that. SR2 funds, in addition to those relief funds that were identified with the 2.8 million, this has expanded to evolve into what has been asserted as needs to attract and retain teachers, knowing that there's a teacher shortage nationally. This is where districts can use these funds to help attract and keep teachers in the buildings. The one caveat on SR2 is that 20% of these funds have to be used to address specifics associated with learning loss. It could be extended day, special tutoring, pull-out programs, additional resources to provide for remediations or for gifted education, advanced placement program, adds to the AP programs, things like that. Next slide. As I said, these are reimbursable with our SR1 or our CARES Act money. We did have an advance from the state based on emergent need for the districts to respond to the immediate needs associated with cleaning and resources necessary to keep the schools up and running during the major pandemic. Next slide, please. Okay, as I said, with the SR1 funds, there's specifics that are associated with the needs that were identified in our district and that are approvable. Stipend pay or additional pay for additional duties that involve tutoring, special programs, extra duties that were identified either by teachers, for students, identified needs in the buildings. Recruitment and retention, as we know, we had a teacher shortage and coverage was at a premium when teachers were out with their own families based on their own personal needs. So resources that are unique to our building and our district could be a SEL program or adding the AP courses that I had mentioned before, emergency transportation, delivery of meals to specific areas. Also, funds can be used for real property such as modular buildings, HVAC conversions, specific things to address the health and the well-being and the cleanliness of the buildings that can be sustained over a long period of time. Cleaning equipment and supplies. Excuse me. Go ahead and change that slide, Shay, please. SR2, again, this is the coronavirus response and relief supplement appropriation grant, act. So what is allowable under SR2 is the same as SR1 with the addition of the 20% caveat to address learning loss. And learning loss may be identified as online programs or supplemental resources to provide for specific identifiable needs, additional materials, programs and services and staff to address SEL, mental health, tutoring, health and wellness needs. It could be anything that is identified as a priority for the district. And that is a brief overview of these two funding sources.
Ms. Mario, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Beckwith. Ms. Loomis, I heard you say 20% to go towards, would you repeat that again?
Yes, ma'am. In the SR2 funds, the $15 million that is going to be coming to the district, 20% of those funds are identified and must be used to address learning losses. It could be supplemental curriculum resources. It could be specialized programs, extended day, before and after school tutoring, Saturday programs. It could also be special summer programs.
Okay. And
These funds will carry over for a 3-year period of time.
do they give, do you know if you can give a percentage, and you don't have to do it today, of how much is allocated for each of the things that you just mentioned?
So the district's discretion is to use those to identify specific areas of need. And it is a reimbursement. So salaries is one thing, salary and benefits is one thing that can go back all the way to March of 2020. And so those funds can come directly off the top of the allocation to reimburse the district for activities that were associated while we tried to keep the district open, keep our teachers, provide additional resources. So the budget will be developed in consultation with all of the schools and with the departments to make sure that the identified unique needs of each school is addressed.
Thank you.
Ms. Oswald?
No questions at this time.
Ms. Loomis, just want to reemphasize, this is not free money and it has to be related to COVID-19. Is that correct?
It is, sir. And I believe that through our discussions with the associate director at DESE and the director of finance at DESE, they have identified that just about everything that the district is doing right now is in response to or result from COVID. As long as it is reasonable and necessary for the functioning of the district and can tie back to what we're doing to try to keep our teachers and keep our buildings open during a global pandemic. There is a projected major teacher shortage, and there is a mass defection all over, people leaving education just for the fear of, going to work every day. So looking at what we can do to be proactive, to appreciate our people and get our buildings, in the state where they are clean and ready in the event that something like this were to occur again, especially with the HVACs. They're talking about, pulling carpet out of buildings and replacing it with
You've answered my
tile.
question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're now down to MSBA membership dues. We have belonged to MSBA for a number of years. The amount for our dues for the ensuing year, $9,702, based on our current expenditures as submitted to DESE. They are very helpful to us with research on policies, et cetera. Moving to the next item, 2020-2021 calendar revision, Ms. Williams-Woods.
Good evening, Dr. Beckwith, Ms. Oswald, Ms. Moore-Real, Dr. Spurgeon, colleagues, and community. Tonight, I will be presenting an item for the 2020-2021 calendar revision. The revision is needed because the teachers are contracted for 190 work days. And due to the fact that we didn't have any inclement weather days this year, the last 2 teacher work days should be June 1st and 2nd instead of June 9th and 10th. It is recommended that the Special Administrative Board approve the revised 2020-2021 district calendar, making Tuesday, June 1st and Wednesday, June 2nd, the last workday for teachers. A recommendation for approval will be presented later in the meeting.
Questions, Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Ms. Moore-Real, questions?
No questions.
I have no questions. Thank you. Item C, RFP 256, Asset Control Solutions Incorporated. Is that Ms. Green or Mr. Singleton?
That would be me, sir.
Okay.
This was an RFP that was put out for fixed asset bid. We had 8 submissions. Submissions ranged anywhere from $24,800 up to $286,000. We had 8 companies submit bids that were reviewed by a 6-committee member committee, and the committee has chosen Asset Control Solutions for a total of $26,150. Part of that will be paid out of general funds, and then the management ongoing will be paid out of title. I have Tom Randolph on the line if you have specific questions about the fixed asset needs of the district based on our specifics with technology.
Questions, Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Ms. Morrow Real?
No questions.
I have no questions either. Thank you. Summer Common Formative Assessment Writing?
Good evening, SAB board members, colleagues, and community. Very much like the curriculum writing that is taking place this summer, there's a need to develop the common formative assessments that are aligned to the district curriculum. The proposal is for 17 staff members to be paid at $25 an hour for 8 days of writing. The day will consist of 5.5 hours a day. Also, the proposal is for $1,000 for training for the first day of writing. The training will be provided by Education Plus, who we partner with. The amount requested will not exceed $22,692. All funding will be paid out of the GOB 1% PD budget. And this addresses one of the action steps and goals and strategies in our CSEP plan. Are there any questions I can answer?
Is that Dr. Kennedy presenting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Ms. Morrow Real? Ms. Morrow Real? Ms. Oswald?
No question.
I have no questions. Thank you, Dr. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Partner memoranda.
Dr.
of
Beckwith, I'm
understand-
sorry, I have no questions.
All right, thank
I'm
you.
dealing with a nosebleed. I apologize.
Oh, no apology necessary. Sorry to hear that.
Mhm.
Partner memoranda of understanding.
Good afternoon, Dr. Spurgeon, SAB members, colleagues, and stakeholders. I come before you recommending the following MOUs be approved. They are MOUs from the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri and an MOU from the Little Bit Foundation. Collectively, both of these partners that we already have provide mentoring services for our students, anti-violence, as well as programs to help our high school students, such as our core, What's Next offering, college and career readiness, academics, book fairs. Collectively, both of these partners have served our students well, and I bring before you the MOUs for the 21-22 school year for your consideration. Are there any questions?
Ms. Morrow Real?
No questions.
Ms. Oswald?
No question.
Okay. Dr. Patton, I thought I read in the memorandum with the Girl Scouts that the girls had to belong to the Girl Scouts. Is there a fee for that?
There is not, sir. Both of these MOUs are free for our students based on the Children's Service Fund that was provided to Missouri schools. So both of these organizations are free to us.
Okay, and with the Little Bit Foundation, I got an email recently asking that they have first right to refusal for any services that we want them to, anybody to perform. That's not I'm asking, is that a part of the memorandum with them?
It is not, sir. I don't believe that that would be a benefit to the Riverview Garden School District overall. I think we need to be open to seek out services that our students need. So this is not part of the memorandum, but this memorandum is pending review by our legal department as well.
Okay, I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Lucis Tree contract, 50 strategies to boost cognitive engagement.
Yes, good evening again. Tonight, I'm coming to you for discussion on the contract with Solution Tree with the 50 strategies to boost cognitive engagement. This request is related to an item that was previously approved by the Special Administrative Board. And this request will provide additional support in the event that we do not secure the number of staff members we had anticipated with the previous proposal. This request is not to exceed the amount of $4,975. It is to be taken from the current 2020-2021 professional development budget. And I am at this point recommending discussion on tonight and approval for this request at the next special administrative board meeting. I'll entertain any questions that you have at this time.
Ms. Oswald,
No question.
Ms. Real,
No questions.
I have no questions. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Federal
Thank you.
programs, grant applications, Ms. Loomis.
Good evening again. This is the annual request to apply for the title funds. And as you will see, the allocations, the projected allocations for Title 1A is $4,619,000. We had a planned set aside of $1,030,000 in anticipation of reduction in title fund allocations, which I am pleased to say was way more. We received way more than what we anticipated when DESI told us that we were going to receive at least 20% less. Title II allocation is $464,000. Title IV is $318,951. The Title I school improvement little a grants is $1,849,450, and you see the distribution amongst those 5 schools. The total projected allocations to be received by the district for title funding is $8,282,640. It is recommended that we apply for these grants by July 1st. And are there any questions?
Ms. Real,
No questions.
Ms. Oswald.
No questions.
Yes. Ms. Loomis, what was the reason for not fulfillment of the 20% cut that you have been they have been projecting? What happened?
Well, we were told by DESI that we were going to receive significantly less in title funding. I believe some of that had to do with the release of state funding for coronavirus response. We also were told that there would be a 75% decrease in the little a allocations. And so those projections were shared with the principals early in the school year to plan for this upcoming year. So we reviewed all of that, and that is why when we received our carryover, we set aside that $1 million in the Title I Big A grant so that we also had those CARES Act monies to help compensate for things that were of an immediate need. So we've kind of put a little bit away for a rainy day in anticipation of that. And luckily, we were in that 5% reduction, which is the normal and usual reduction of the title funds. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. Items H and I, salary enhancements, have been removed from the agenda as per a vote by the SAB earlier in the meeting. We will now go to our consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. We're ready for the question. Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
There is no opposition. We have one action item. Ms. Williams-Woods has presented the need to revise the 2020-2021 calendar due to no snow days. May I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. We're ready for the question. Hearing none. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. That completes our agenda for tonight. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
There being no questions, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Have a pleasant evening.